Need advice? Ask a bee. The answers may not be perfect, but they'll be entertaining. Submit your letters and let bee mind your business for a while.
So I have a question, and I need the man watching to be honest. What exactly are you looking for every time you open the refrigerator? You look in there, close the door, come back 5 minutes later, and look again. Like somebody slipped a steak and a cheesesteak in while you weren't paying attention. Is there something I'm missing, or do all husbands honestly believe the refrigerator refills itself if you check it often enough? You got me.
This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
All right, welcome back. Hey. Listen, this is the place where real questions get the honest answers. A little bit of wisdom, a whole lot of laughter, and maybe a life lesson or two along the way. I'm your host, Boss B, and whether you've been part of the hive since day one or you just wandered in because, YouTube dropped you off here, I'm so glad you're here. Grab something to drink and get comfortable, and let's spend a little time together. Around here, we laugh, we think, we support each other. We think, yeah, that's a good one. And sometimes we take the scenic route getting there, but we always get there together. Now, remember, Ask a Bee isn't about having all the answers. It's about looking at life from a different angle, finding a little humor in the chaos, and reminding ourselves that none of us are figuring this one out alone. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get into today's letter. As soon as I say hello, Miss Poetic Tears, my sweet friend, good to see you, doll. Very good to see you. Thank you for showing some love, honey. I miss you. All right, I am going to scoot on over like I always do and get us a letter up. Love you, sweetheart. And letter, where would that be? Well, that would be here. You know what? I think we need a little Skeeter Yeeter first. Y'all give me a second.
These scopes are brought to you by Earl's Skeeter Yeeter 3000. If it don't get rid of the mosquitoes, it'll definitely get rid of the neighbors.
I know we love Skeeter, right? We love Skeeter Yeeters. All righty. Hey, doll. So we're going to get into this first little letter today. And yes, if you remember, we started out with letters because they're fun, right? So we're going to start with this one. It's a little different, but hey, we do good with these, right? All right, dear B, I need your help settling something that's been driving me crazy for years. My husband has developed a habit that I cannot explain, and I'm starting to think it's something all men are born with. He opens the refrigerator constantly. Yeah, I got one of them too. Not because he's hungry and not because he's actually looking for something specific. He just walks into the kitchen, opens the door, stares inside for a minute, like he's reading the world's most interesting novel, closes it, and walks away. 5 minutes later, he's back doing it again. The funny part is that he always acts disappointed, like the refrigerator let him down. I finally asked him, what was he looking for? And he shrugged and said, I don't know, something good. I've heard that before. I know you have. Something good, huh? We bought the groceries together, right? You know exactly what's in there because you pushed the cart through the store with me. I feel this. I really do. Unless the refrigerator has a secret entrance that I'm unaware of, nothing new has arrived since the last time you checked it. Last weekend, I cleaned the whole thing from top to bottom. I threw away old leftovers, organized everything, and even put the drinks, condiments, snacks in their own sections. It looked so good, I almost took a picture of it. See, honey, I would have taken the picture, okay, probably 10 different pictures, just so I knew where everything was and who to get on to when they moved it in the wrong place, right? Okay, so an hour later, he opened the door, looked around, sighed, and announced, we don't have anything to eat. B, we had plenty to eat. We just didn't have pizza, cheeseburgers, or whatever miracle meal he was hoping would magically appear. Here's what really gets me. When I ask him what he wants from the grocery store, he always says, I don't care. Shoot, girl, you know what I get? I don't know. Seriously. Then I come home with groceries and he spends the next 3 days opening the refrigerator every 10 minutes looking for the one thing he never asked me to buy. I'm sorry, that just tickled me because I've heard that probably every single time. Okay, is this just a husband thing? Yes, dear. Yes, I can answer that one for you right away. That is a husband thing. Do all men secretly believe food multiplies if you keep checking often enough? Mm-hmm. Or is my husband the only one waiting for the pot roast fairy to show up while he's watching television? Signed, married to the refrigerator inspector. Okay. Come on, that was good. What a letter, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, can I just say that my refrigerator has actually filed a complaint more than once for that very scenario. And don't get me wrong, y'all. I love my man. I do. But my man does that. Okay, so it's a husband thing for sure. But let's get into this. Okay, I have a question for the men watching today, and I need you to answer honestly. And I know there's no men out there right now, but for the replay, what exactly are you looking for every time you open the refrigerator? I think that's the only, yes, definitely file a complaint. You know, I think that's the only question that I truly have. What are you looking for? I don't mean what do you hope is in there. I mean, what are you actually expecting to find that wasn't there 5 minutes ago? Because somewhere along the way, husbands all over America. See my shirt? American Mama. Some husbands all over America decided the refrigerator is less of an appliance and more of a slot machine. It's facts. You just keep pulling the handle, hoping this is the time the jackpot hits, right? I mean, it's almost like, okay, triple stakes. No, that's not what happens. You know, there's not cheesecake. There's not somebody made homemade lasagna while you were in the bathroom. Maybe this time a fully dressed ham just wandered in looking for a family. If so, we're calling it Wilbur. Ladies, you know what? I have to put that up. You're right. They're men. AKA what she said. Hi, Nita. I love you. So I know you're laughing because you've seen it, right? Your husband gets up during the commercial break, walks to the kitchen, and you know it's game day. And you are already supposed to, prepare all these hors d'oeuvres for the game, not to mention get things ready to go on the grill when the game is over, right? Right? Okay. So the commercial break, walks into the kitchen, opens the refrigerator, stares inside like he's studying for the bar exam. Am I right? Closes the door, comes back to the couch, sits down for about 3 minutes. He sighs, maybe shakes his head a little bit, smacks that couch, and then gets right back up. And guess where he's going? Ladies, anybody? Yes, right back to the refrigerator. It's almost like he thinks the refrigerator is buffering. Any minute now, the internet is going to stop being so wonky and poof, sirloin, top sirloin. Okay, maybe It just hadn't loaded everything yet. I swear, if refrigerators had a refresh button, men would wear it out. hmm Yeah. Now, before all the guys decide that I'm picking on them, let me confess something. I've done it too. Yeah. Look, every man has, okay? We just don't realize we're doing it until somebody points it out. Then we get defensive, right? Well, I was hungry. No, you weren't hungry, honey. You were hopeful. Those are two completely different things. Yeah, the fridge and me, we have an understanding though. When I go, it's still there because I knew where to put it, right? Right? Hungry people make a sandwich. Hopeful people open the refrigerator 12 times, waiting for inspiration to strike. My favorite part is the look on a man's face while he's standing there. It's always the same look. One hand on the refrigerator door, one hand on his hip, head tilted just a little, staring into the middle distance like, you know what, like he's solving a murder mystery. You'd think he was trying to decode ancient hieroglyphics, okay? In reality, he's looking at ketchup again. And don't tell me you're checking to see what's in there, okay? You know what's in there. You were at the grocery store. You pushed the buggy. You helped unload the groceries. You even helped me put them away. You carried in exactly 3 bags because somehow that was all you could physically manage, while your wife made 4 trips carrying the other 37. And yet you somehow remember every score from every football game in 1987. Hello, Cowboys. Don't look at me like that. Men, don't look at me like that. Every woman watching just nodded so hard she almost spilled her coffee. Okay. Men have an amazing ability to selectively remember things and selectively hear things. And okay, I could be here for days. Ask a husband where the measuring cups are, and suddenly he's never been in that kitchen before. Am I wrong? No. Ask him who scored the winning touchdown in the NFC Championship game 15 years ago, and he will tell you what the guy had for breakfast from the refrigerator. Explain that one to me, please. Somebody. But back in the refrigerator, okay? I think I've finally figured it out, truthfully. Men don't actually open the refrigerator looking for food. They're looking for possibilities. Every time that door opens, there's this tiny little voice in the back of our heads that says, maybe somebody bought something good. It's optimism, right? Completely irrational optimism, but optimism nonetheless. Got to give them credit for that, right? Women don't think this way because women shop with purpose, right? They know what they're making on Tuesday. They know what they're making on Thursday. They know they bought chicken because chicken is for tomorrow night and the ground beef is for tacos on Friday or Tuesday, if you have that. Men walk into the kitchen with absolutely no game plan whatsoever. We don't have a destination, okay? We're just wandering around like Lewis and Clark, hoping to discover leftovers. And they fly right on out of the dang kitchen, right into their seat or wherever they're going to go. And then guess what? They fly right back on in. That's why the wife can say, there's chicken in there. And a husband will say, I don't want chicken. Well, what do you want? I don't know. Isn't that fascinating? We don't know what we want, but we're absolutely certain it isn't what's already in the refrigerator. I think the kids see the husband and that's where they get it from. I love my man. Okay. I love my man, but We all have bad habits that our kids pick up. Me too. I know I do. Like, my granddaughter just got on to me today, in fact, because I went in. I don't know. I'm probably going to get it for this, but guys, listen. Pickle juice. Come on. It has vinegar in it. That stuff is good for when you are cramping from heat, you know? So I poured myself a little bit of pickle juice today and drank it. And, well, she wanted to drink pickle juice then. And she didn't understand why. She's only 4 years old. Okay? It is what it is. We all have habits that we really don't want to pass on to the kids, but I think the men do it purposefully. I don't care. I think they like watching when a kid acts like them. That's just my opinion. I'm not a professional. We know this. Anyway, it's an incredible talent when you think about it. Imagine walking into a library saying, I don't know what book I want, but I know it isn't one of these. That's exactly what husbands do with food. Okay, then comes the line that every wife has heard at least 1,000 times. There's nothing to eat. Really? Nothing? Last time I checked, there was milk, eggs, cheese, lunch meat, yogurt, fruit, leftovers, soup, frozen vegetables, frozen pizza, frozen chicken, and enough condiments to open a small sandwich shop. There's nothing to eat. There's nothing you feel like eating or making. Because, ladies, that's where it really is, right? It's too much effort. Those are two completely different conversations, though, I think. We should start being more honest, okay? Instead of saying there's nothing to eat, just say nothing in this refrigerator matches the imaginary meal I created in my head 5 seconds ago. Yeah, that works. Works for me anyway. Now that's accurate. And ladies, don't pretend you're innocent in all of this because you've got your own quirks, right? Every wife has that one container in the refrigerator that nobody is allowed to touch because she's saving it. Saving it for what? The Olympics? State inspection? Isn't one spoonful of that potato salad that's been in there so long, it's eligible for Medicare? Okay. Nobody's eating it. Nobody even remembers making it. Not even me. I threw it out today. But heaven help me, help the husband who throws it away, because suddenly I was saving it for whom? Archaeologists? We all have these little habits that make absolutely no sense until someone else points them out, don't we? So that's one of the funniest parts of marriage. You spend years living with another human being until one day you realize the person you love has been doing something completely ridiculous for decades, and neither one of you ever questioned it. That's what this letter reminded me of. It's not really about the refrigerator. It's about the familiarity. Make sure I say that right. I've been married for 34 years, okay? There's a lot of familiarity right there. It's about watching the same person do the same goofy thing for 30 years until one day you finally ask, what in the world are you doing? And here's the best part. Most husbands don't even have an answer. Ask them what they're looking for, okay? And they'll say, I don't know. Well, thank you for clearing that up, Sherlock. Mystery solved. You don't know what you're looking for, but you're absolutely convinced it's going to be on the second shelf between the mayonnaise and last night's meatloaf. If you just check one more time, right? That's not how it works, honey. It's just not how it works. So, Give me just a second here. I need a drink, and we all need to think about this.
Boss G reacts because somebody has to supervise the internet, and apparently that somebody is B.
That's me. I do believe that is absolutely me. What do you think? Okay, so I know there are some men that are going to see this. Okay, I'm not scared. Not at all. Maybe a little bit. My man sees it. No, he knows my sense of humor. At least that's what he calls it. Around people. Now, I know there are some men watching. Okay, or going to watch. That are going to get a little uncomfortable because your wife has quietly turned towards you with that look. You know the one. Okay, you know that look. The look that says he's talking or she's talking about you. Don't deny it. Denying it just makes you look guiltier. In fact, I'd be willing to bet there are husbands all over the country watching this with a bowl of chips in one hand while pretending they have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, their wives are mentally keeping score. He opened the refrigerator 6 times before breakfast, 3 more before lunch, then once before dinner while I was cooking dinner. That's the one that gets me. It is. Why do men open the refrigerator while somebody is already cooking? You can smell food cooking. You can see it. You know dinner is 15 minutes away. Yet somehow you still think there might be something better hiding behind the orange juice. That's optimism, bordering on delusion. I think some of this goes all the way back to when we were kids, right? Remember opening the refrigerator at your parents' house. You weren't looking for ingredients. You were looking for treasure, leftover birthday cake, pudding cups, somebody's forgotten milkshake. You know, maybe there was fried chicken from last night. Every trip to the refrigerator was an adventure. Somewhere along the line, we grew up, got jobs, got married, started paying for our own groceries, and somehow we never outgrew the adventure. We still open that refrigerator with the same childlike belief that someday something wonderful is going to happen. You know, since the last time we looked, guess what? It hasn't. But hope springs eternal. And let's be honest, okay? Refrigerators have become museums of good intentions. Every shelf tells a story. There's the bag of salad you bought because this was finally going to be the week everybody started eating healthier, right? It's still in there, looking just as optimistic as the day it came home. Right beside it is the fruit you swore you'd snack on instead of cookies. Somehow, the cookies, they disappeared in 2 days. Yeah. But the grapes, they are entering their own retirement years. DIY wine, anybody? Then there's a yogurt you bought, okay? Because somebody on television said probiotics were important. Nobody knows what probiotics actually do, but by golly, we've got them. They're right there behind the sour cream. That's 1 day away from becoming a chemistry experiment. Can we also talk about the leftovers? Does anybody eat leftovers in your house? Please tell me. Leftovers have a strange life cycle, right? The night you cook them, everybody loves it. It's amazing. This is delicious, Mom. Thank you so much. We should have this again tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. And suddenly, the leftovers are still left over. They become invisible. They sit in the refrigerator for 3 or 4 days until somebody finally asks, are we keeping this? That's a dangerous question in marriage because nobody wants to make the decision. throw away the leftovers too early, and somebody says, hey, I was going to eat that, leave them there too long, and now they're developing personalities. At some point, the container isn't the leftovers anymore. It's a science fair project. Then, agreed. Agreed. Hello, Big Jack. Good to see you again, sir. So then you've got these mysterious containers, right? Every refrigerator has at least one container that nobody can identify. And God forbid you open it to try and find out. This is where the redneck Tupperware comes in my house. It's okay to throw that crap away. If you don't know what it is just by looking on the outside, throw it away. You take the lid off and everybody will lean back a little. Okay, what is that? Cool Whip bowls. Exactly. And Country Crock. I'm telling you, Country Crock are good. But you know what? Somebody says something like, I think it's chili. Somebody else says, no, I think it was beef stew. Then the oldest person in the room says, well, don't throw it away until we know. Know what? When its birthday is, if nobody recognizes it, I think we've reached the point where we can let it go with dignity. Okay. My husband and I had another little disagreement about refrigerators. Okay. He always says, if I can't find something after 30 seconds, it's because I'm not looking. I completely disagree. Okay. Look, men look differently than women. Women actually move things around. They'll take out the milk, lift up the butter, slide over the jelly, and magically find what they're looking for. Men don't believe in disturbing the ecosystem, okay? If I don't see it immediately, I assume it didn't exist. You know? Then the wife walks over, reaches into the exact same refrigerator, or just moves one little container 2 inches, and suddenly she's holding exactly what you couldn't find, right? Then she gives you that look. You know that one. It's not anger. It's worse. It's disappointment. But in a funny way, because come on, you've been married forever, you know. You know, it's like I'm wondering how I managed to survive adulthood. Really, sometimes. You know, it wasn't there when he looked, right? I don't ever believe my husband. Men look, they don't want to find the item. Now that I believe wholeheartedly. Because if it's something you have to fix, well, there's just not enough time for that between now and the thing you want to do, you know, while you're eating. And that's how it is around my house. That is true for everybody in my house, though. There's never any time to sit down and eat or make a meal or anything. And if there isn't something that I can just, you know, in the microwave and it's done, nobody wants it. You never lose the remote. I don't know if I can believe that. I lose the remote. Seriously. The remote is one of those things that I don't touch, and I lose it. And that's why. No, but when you always find it. I never find it. When I go looking for anything, I never find it. I don't know if it's being old, maybe. Because I am. Maybe not old, but you know what I'm saying. It's like that thing where you walk into another room going to get something and you completely forget by the time you get there. I have that, and it's worse, like every day worse. And I know that's just a part of it, but I will set something down, walk away, go back to the very place that I thought I set it down, and that's not where I set it down. What is with that? I mean, I must be really losing it. There's no Alzheimer's in my family, but there's lots of old timers. So, yeah, I think that's the problem I have the most, is coming to terms with the fact that I am over 50 years old. Men find what they want. If finding the item means more work, I can't find it. Okay. You know what? I'm going to put that one up there, because that right there, I believe with every ounce of my being. Yep. That's why, well, in my house, let me put it this way. That's why in my house, I end up looking for it. Because if I can't find it, then it can't be found, right? And he don't want to look. So it's true. It's true. He don't want to look for it. Even if he lost it. No, that's not true. Half the time it's because somebody else lost it, truly. But the point is, darn it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 10 things at once, and I'm not doing it very well. Okay. Now then. And we are out of it. Yep. Hold up. My computer's doing silly things now. Okay. Now then. So, I guess to try and get back to it, I don't know if I can now. I hate it when my computer goes wonky and starts doing silly things. It was doing it earlier too. Okay, so one thing that, I think, and it's just my opinion. Good evening, Paul. How are you, man? I look with Stevie Wonder eyes. There you go. Big Jack, I don't think I've ever heard of that expression before, and I love it. I may have to borrow that. That's, yeah, well, when I'm talking about Ozzy, of course. That's spot on. I love it. But one thing every married couple should do at least once is maybe switch jobs for a day, a week, an hour, whatever. Not forever, okay? Just long enough to appreciate what the other person actually does. I think a lot of household arguments who would disappear overnight. Guys would suddenly realize groceries don't magically appear in the pantry, and women might discover why men disappear into the garage for 2 hours and come back with one screw they swear they needed. We all think the other person's job is easier because we only see the finished product. We don't see the work that got us there. Take grocery shopping, for example. Most husbands think grocery shopping consists of driving to the store, buying food, and coming home. Currently looking in the fridge for Wish beans and Wonder Bread. Nice, Paul. Yep. I think we seen a lot of that back when I was a teenager, didn't we? So that's because we're only paying attention to, the driving part. Women have a strategy. They know which store has the best produce, which one has the cheapest meat, which aisle the paper towels are on, which cashier moves faster than the others. Men approach the grocery store like explorers. And I mean that in the best way. We don't know where anything is. So we end up walking every aisle 3 times, right? A man would. So went in for bread and somehow left with frozen taquitos, beef jerky, a flashlight, and windshield washer fluid. Then they get home proud of themselves because they remembered the bread. Meanwhile, they forgot every single thing that was actually on the list. See, this is partially true because my husband goes to the store most of the time. He's the one that does the shopping. I hate shopping. And that's funny because, one of my other jobs that I do, the 50,000 that I have, is Instacart. That's my grandbaby money. That's what I call it, because that's what I buy her all her crazy stuff with. And don't tell my son, please. Don't tell. I spoil her. I can't help it, and I'm not going to. Anyway, you know, so I feel like sometimes men also too are shocked when they're not, or when men are not impressed, you know. But it's like, honey, look at these cookies. They're so big. Well, okay, you know what? Sometimes that don't work, because sometimes your husband wants cake instead. You know, they're thinking, wow, that's wonderful. We still don't have toilet paper though. I've always wondered why grocery stores put certain things where they do too. Milk is always in the very back, right? Bread is never next to the peanut butter. Eggs are somewhere, as far away from bacon as they possibly can get. I think grocery stores are designed by people who enjoy watching us wander around confused. I really do. Every time they remodel the store, they move everything just enough to make you question your own memory. You walk in thinking you know exactly where the coffee is, and suddenly it's the pet food aisle. What? Now you're standing in the baking aisle wondering if you've accidentally walked into another dimension. Meanwhile, your spouse somehow adapts immediately. They moved it last Tuesday. How do you know that? Okay, did they send out a newsletter? Is there a secret grocery shoppers club that I don't know about? Then there's the self-checkout. Oh, don't get me started on them. Whoever invented self-checkout clearly never watched anyone buy bananas. Okay, thank you. The machine starts, talking to you before you've even scanned the first item. Please place the item in the bagging area. Okay, I did. And we find the grocery shopping by me. Oh, and we tried the grocery shopping by me with the list, and came back with everything else except the listed items, but the essential, like ice cream and candy. And I can now blame things on my two granddaughters wanted the essentials, ice creams and such. Yeah. I've known you long enough to know you're full of poop, dude. Paul Baker, Skull baby. Sir, I've known you long enough. You are spoiling them grandbabies. So, you're sitting here fighting with this machine, right? Unexpected item in the bagging area. Well, if it's unexpected, maybe you should have been paying attention, right? Then the light starts flashing like you've committed a felony over a bunch of grapes. An employee has to come over, scan a badge, press a button, and suddenly everything works perfectly. I always feel like saying, can you just follow me around for the rest of my shopping trip? Meanwhile, the wife is flying through self-checkout like she's entering cheat codes in a video game. Beep, 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 done. Man's over there arguing with a machine because it doesn't believe that you've put the onions in the bag. I hate that so much. When you're an Instacart shopper, you tend to get these little things going with these machines. I talk to one like it were my mother, and no, not in the nicest possible way. Mom, what'd you do that for? Okay, Mom. Fine, Mom. That irritated teenager sound. You know what else I think is funny, though? What? Right? I agree, Big Jack. I agree. If it doesn't scan the first time, it's free. Amen. Yes, we did. We earned our rights to spoil them grandbabies for sure. I know I have for sure. I know you have. I know how you are with them kids. So, you know what else I think is funny is every family has one person who believes buying in bulk saves money, and another person who's convinced It requires taking out a second mortgage. You walk into one of those warehouse stores for a loaf of bread and leave with enough paper towels to survive until retirement. I don't need 72 rolls of toilet paper. Okay? It's not, COVID anymore. I'm not opening a hotel. Then you get home and you realize you've got nowhere to put any of it. Now you got canned vegetables under the guest bed and enough bottled water stacked in the garage to prepare for the apocalypse. Let me tell y'all something. Now, I'm all for being prepared, but let's not go overboard. We always say we're saving money, but somehow we spent $400 to save $20. How is that saving? And let's talk about snacks real quick, because I think snacks are the real reason refrigerators and pantries are constantly being searched. Nobody ever wanders into the kitchen craving broccoli. They don't. Don't lie. Nobody has ever stood in front of an open refrigerator whispering, "Man, I hope there's a nice stalk of celery in here." Well, I take that back because I may have done that, but you know what I'm saying. We're looking for cookies, pie, leftover birthday cake, something fried, deep fried, something from a gas station, something sweet, or something covered in cheese. Come on. That's what we're hunting. The vegetables are just innocent bystanders in this investigation. They know they're safe. The carrots have absolutely no fear because they've watched this performance for years. The cookies, on the other hand, now they're living on borrowed time, especially around me. I think that's why wives get frustrated. They spend all this time planning balanced meals, and husbands are treating the kitchen like a convenience store at a gas station, right? Hey, barbecue and chicken, let me tell you, some of them have the best. We know this, don't we? We don't want dinner. We want a snack before dinner. That's why gas station food is okay, too. Another snack while dinner's cooking. And maybe dessert before we've even finished the meal. Then somehow we're confused, right? When our pants stop fitting. Yeah. It's one of life's greatest mysteries. We don't remember eating that much because technically we never sat down for a meal. We just grazed our way through the kitchen like cattle in a pasture. We know about that in Texas. Paul says, we've been to Sam's Club so much that I'm convinced that they need to be added to our Christmas card list. There you go. That is facts right there, dude. Yeah. But here's my theory, okay? The refrigerator isn't really the problem. The refrigerator is just where all these little marriage habits show up, right? It's the stage where husbands and wives perform the same comedy routine every single day without even realizing it. One person opens the refrigerator, right? The other person says, "What are you looking for?" The first person says, "I don't know." The second person rolls their eyes. The audience laughs, right? Because every single one of us has lived that exact moment. That's why this letter is so funny to me. It isn't unique, okay? It's universal. Somewhere right now, a husband is standing in front of an open refrigerator, wondering what sounds good. And somewhere behind him, his wife is thinking, if you don't know by now, opening that door one more time isn't going to help. And somehow, after all these years, they both keep doing it anyway. That's marriage. It's not perfect. It doesn't always make sense. But if you can laugh at the little things, you're going to miss some of the, if you can't laugh, at some of the little things, you're going to miss some of the best moments of your life with your spouse. What I have discovered after years of watching families, every house has rules that make absolutely no sense to anyone outside that house. right? It's true. We know this is true. It's well, it's just a universal kind of human thing, right? Yes, I'm copying and pasting here again. Sorry. I don't know why I keep apologizing for it. I should just keep talking, right? Because I don't talk too much or nothing like that. They're not written down anywhere. Nobody voted on these rules. They just sort of happened. Didn't even realize your family is strange until somebody else comes over and asks a perfectly reasonable question. Like, why do y'all keep the bread in the microwave? Well, because that's where the bread goes, right? No. But isn't that where you cook things? Not in our house. In our house, the microwave is apparently a bread box that occasionally heats coffee. Look, I want to tell y'all something real quick that gave me this thought. I have two microwaves, one that does not work and acts as a hot hold over my stove. Why not? I don't want to pull the silly thing down. I would have to be the one to do it. So, yeah, it just stays up there. And when I want to keep my food warm, I'll just put it up there. It's still got an exhaust fan. It's still got a light for over my stove. So why not? And the other little microwave that we don't use very often is sitting over off to the side. So what? It works, right? Hey, reuse is good too, unless you're doing YouTube. So every family has one of those little customs. Maybe you stack the dishwasher a certain way. Maybe everybody takes their shoes off at the door. Maybe you've got, I don't know, a chair in the living room that nobody else is allowed to sit in because that's Dad's chair, right? It isn't written in the Constitution, but everybody knows it. You could have 20 people in the house during Christmas. Every seat in the room could be taken, and that chair will still be empty because nobody wants to be the one who accidentally starts an international incident. Dad walks in carrying a plate of food, looks around the room, sees somebody in his chair, and suddenly the temperature drops 10 degrees. Nobody says anything. It's just a total hush over the complete room, right? Pardon me. But everybody notices, right? It's amazing how much authority a recliner can have. Speaking of chairs, can somebody explain why men refuse to throw away perfectly broken furniture? Women see an old recliner with springs sticking out of it and think, we need a new chair. Men see the exact same chair and think, it still reclines, it's broken in, don't touch it. The stuffing is coming out. The armrest has duct tape on it. Every time you sit down, it makes a noise that sounds like an old pirate ship, okay? But somehow, that's the most comfortable chair in the house. We've had it so long, our bodies have molded to it. A brand new chair feels wrong because it still has support. Men don't want support. They want familiarity. If a chair hasn't tried to pinch your finger at least once while you're reclining, is it even a real recliner? Then there are television remotes. There you go, Big Jack. I don't know who decided one television needed 4 different remotes, but I'd like a word with them, okay? Remember when televisions had one knob? I mean, you can turn it one way or the other. UHF, VHF, right? 3 channels. Yes, I'm that old. Shut up. If you wanted channel 5, you turned it to 5. If you wanted to make it louder, you got up and turned another knob. We survived. Right, Gen X? Today, you've got a remote for the television, one for the soundbar, one for streaming, one that nobody knows what it does, and somehow none of them have batteries when you need them, right? Paul says, my wife always says, you opened that 5 minutes ago. Did you think that By opening the fridge again, something is magically appears. And if duct tape and super glue can extend the life, then it's still usable. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for proving my point tonight. I love you. You know that. All right, my friend. That was perfect. It's exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't know, Paul Baker and I have known each other since I was, 15, 16 years old? Yeah. So history there. Lots of it. So, isn't it amazing that batteries always die the exact moment you're sitting down to watch something, right? Right, guys? Never while you're vacuuming, never while you're paying bills for us ladies, only when you've finally gotten comfortable. Your drink is on the table, your feet are up, and the football game it's starting right now. Suddenly, the remote decides it's fulfilled its purpose in life. And don't you love how every family has a designated battery drawer? Mine's right underneath the TV. I've actually got two because we have to keep these batteries separated, right? My mother's credenza. So you open it and it's full of batteries, right? That may or may not work. Nobody knows. We don't throw them away because they might still have a little life left in them. So every time something quits working, we just perform the battery shuffle, right? Try these. No, those are dead. How about these? I think those came out of the smoke detector in 2017. Somewhere in that drawer are 16 pins that don't write 7 rubber bands. Okay? Sorry, give me a second. Stop. Go on. Leave me be. Dogs, man. Dogs. So, now, 7 rubber bands that have fossilized. 3 instruction manuals for appliances you threw away years ago. And enough loose screws to assemble a bike, right? If only you knew where they came from. Now, while we're talking about household mysteries, I have a question that's been bothering me for years. Why do we all have a junk drawer? Please tell me this. Paul says, since you were knee-high to a grasshopper and as far as the 2,500 remotes go, it's easier just to unplug the surge protector from the wall. Problem solved. Okay. If that's what you think, I will go with it. Listen, every single house has a junk drawer. Okay? Rich people have one, poor people have one, apartments have them, farmhouses. You open that drawer and it's like opening an archaeological dig, okay? There's a flashlight that doesn't work, birthday candles from somebody's 15th birthday, which everybody's over 25 now, even though they're, 72 maybe, 5 takeout menus from restaurants that closed during the last administration, 12 keys that don't fit anything you currently own, and 1 tiny Allen wrench that, we're convinced is important enough to save forever. We don't know what it belongs to, but the minute we throw it away, we'll buy a bookshelf that desperately needs it, right? That's the law. And heaven help the person who tries to organize the junk drawer. It sounds like a wonderful idea until you realize the junk drawer's entire purpose is to avoid organization. That's why it's called a junk drawer. The minute you buy a little plastic dividers and start labeling sections, congratulations, you no longer have a junk drawer. You've got an office supply drawer. That's a completely different department. Junk has to remain slightly mysterious. It's part of the charm, right? You don't go to the junk drawer expecting answers. You go in hoping luck is on your side. I've also noticed married couples have completely different definitions of the word clean. A husband walks into the kitchen and says, "Looks clean to me." A wife walks in and immediately notices fingerprints on the refrigerator, crumbs under the toaster, dust on the ceiling fan, and a coffee ring somebody left on the counter yesterday afternoon. Men clean. Wait a minute. Yesterday afternoon? No, that doesn't happen. It doesn't last that long. Men clean until it looks acceptable. Women clean until it looks impossible to improve. Now, that's why a husband can proudly announce, "I cleaned the kitchen," and 5 minutes later, his wife says, "You missed a spot," which is really not a good thing to do, ladies. He doesn't even argue anymore, right? And that's why it's not a good thing, because that's the point he gets to. He just sighs because he knows she's right. She always finds the spot. I don't know how. She does, right? Maybe that's what makes family life so entertaining, though. None of us are perfect. We've all got habits that make absolutely no sense. We all do things that drive the people we love absolutely crazy. Women do too, men. I'm not just putting this on you because believe me, I know after 34 years, my husband, there are times he'd rather just kick me in the butt and get me going in a different direction because, hey, lady, you need to get back to reality. We're all like that, you guys, right? Ain't nobody perfect, nor would we want to be. That's too boring. But after enough years together, those habits, they stop being aggravating and start becoming part of your family's story, even comedic, right? One day you'll find yourself laughing about things that used to annoy you. I mean, just really annoy you. You'll remember the refrigerator door hanging open, the mysterious junk drawer, the sacred recliner, the remote control scavenger hunts that boss man doesn't take, and the endless debate over whether there's anything to eat. And you realize those weren't interruptions to life. They were life. The funny little routines that seemed so ordinary at the time because the memories you treasure later. That's what they become, right? Funny how that works, though. We spend years wishing people would stop doing those silly little things. And then one day we'd give just about anything to hear them ask one more time, "Honey, what have we got to eat?" Right? And some of us ladies, we have these husbands that, well, I think we tend to think that they are invincible just as much as they do. So we get under the impression that they've got themselves all under control, their health and all that stuff. And then one day, they have a heart attack, or I don't know, blood clots on the lungs, things like that. But we need to remember that as tough as they are, ladies, you still need to get to it because they still need us to take care of them because they're just too darn hard-headed, right? Paul says that junk drawer is my grown adults' inheritance after I'm gone. And as far as cleaning goes around our house, I do the cleaning and nobody questions me how I clean, because if they do question it, all of the cleaning stuff will be at their feet for their expertise on cleaning. Agreed. Yep. Hey, you don't like the way I do it? You think you can do a better job? Here you go. More power to you. I got that. So, all right, before we wrap this up, I do have to defend the husbands just a little bit here, okay? Because we've spent the better part of an hour picking on them. And fair is fair, ladies. We've got our little habits too. And don't look so innocent because you know it is. You may not stand in front of the refrigerator every 10 minutes, but you do something that absolutely mystifies every man who's ever been married. You ask them where something is while you're standing closer to it than they are. Tell me that's not true. You know what? My husband be sitting in the living room minding his own business, and I will yell from the kitchen, "Honey, where are the scissors?" Now, first of all, if I knew where he knew where the scissors were, don't you think he would have put them back where they were ever the last time that you couldn't find them? Secondly, you're in the kitchen, he's in another zip code. How exactly is he supposed to know? But here's the miracle. Walking into the kitchen and suddenly expected to become Sherlock Holmes is not the plan, okay? He'll start opening drawers, looking on counters, checking the junk drawer, because that's where everything eventually ends up. And somehow they're found. Not because they knew where they were, but because they looked. Right, Big Jack? I think this is what we were talking about. And then she'll say the same thing women have been saying since the beginning of time. Well, if you just put things back where they belong, excuse me, who decided where they belong first? Okay. I don't remember attending that committee meeting. Every marriage has those invisible rules. That's the only one that only one person knows about, right? So let me give you your props, guys. You're still okay with me. Okay. It's all right. We get it. We have our problems too. We do. So we'll get back into it. We'll figure that out eventually. I hope. All right. Now I'm going to get into... Yep. Let me stop this thing. I don't know why I'm having so many problems tonight. I guess I got through it anyway, though, didn't I? All right. Yeah, we are going to call this one a little bit of a night because this has been a long night. Oh, I don't want to miss my 33 years together and married for 16 to the same woman. She still asks me where this and that is, only for me to move it before I tell her where she put it at. Now that I believe. On you, Paul, I believe that one. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think you used to do that when we worked together in Pizza Hut. Paul, where's the salad tongs? Oh, over there. And they were there right after you put them there, right? Now, let me give y'all a flight plan just to let you know what's going on in the BBTV world. Pardon me. So, most Wednesday nights, you'll find me right here for Ask a Bee. I was doing it, once a day, but things have changed and my schedule has changed. So I'm going to take Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., all but the first Wednesday night of the month, because that is Ladies' Diary, okay? Which is on the 5th of August this month. Y'all be there. So you can see me here every Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And, most Wednesdays, you'll find me right here for Ask a Bee. Then Ladies' Diary. There's no questions too big, too small, or too weird, but the first Wednesday of every month, the 5th of August, I'm going to team up with my sis, Mama Lyons, for Ladies' Diary. We laugh, we cry, we encourage each other, and, sometimes we might need a tissue and some chocolate. So if you don't see Ask a Bee on the first Wednesday of every month, don't worry. We're just having a girls' night, and you're welcome to join us. All right, y'all. I'm heading out, but first, I want to leave you with these rules because these are important to me, okay? This is about Ask-A-Bee, and this is very important to me. So I'm going to scoot on over, and I'm going to leave you with these right here. If you don't remember anything else from today's show, I hope you'll remember these, okay? Bee rule number 1, I'll always be honest. If I think you're wrong, I'll tell you. If I think you're right, I'll tell you that too. Now listen, rule number 2, I'll always be fair. I'm only hearing one side of the story, so I'll answer the letter that's in front of me, not the one I have to imagine, okay? Rule number 3, I'll always answer because I care, not to judge you, not to embarrass you, not to win an argument, but because sometimes the truth is the kindest thing that we can give each other. And one final rule. Go see Iron Sharpening Iron Universe, Big Jack Storytime, Rising Resilience, The Source, The Phenomenal Family. And you know what? Tuber Chat too. I could go on, but hey, tell them Bee sent you. Those are the Bee rules. Love you all, and I will buzz you later. Go check out my friends.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches, building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why. If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description.
Boss be rising.